Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Sinta Fitriyani. I'm from UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta and I'm from class 5A. Now, I want to explain about mathematical logic.
Okay, in this discussion, we will discuss about logic, negation, conjunction, disjunction, implication, and implication. First of all, we will discuss the notion of logic. Logic is a method or advanced technique to check for accuracy reasoning. Reasoning is from thinking, which is where the process of thinking as opposed to sensory observation or empirical observation produce a number of meanings and propositions at once. Next, proposition. What is the proposition? A proposition is a declarative statement or sentence that is true or false but not both. In the proposition, any open sentence. Open sentence is a sentence that contains a variable so it can be determined the true or false value. In a proposition, there is also a negation. The negation of a proposition is the negation of a proposition and contains the word not or no. For example, P is a proposition that not P is the negation of P. Example, P is Andi is a teacher, so negation P, Andi is not a teacher. Okay, we go into compound statement or the combining statements. The first is a conjunction. The conjunction of two statements P and Q, pronouns conjunction and the pronouns P and Q is true if the two statements P and Q are each true, whereas for the other P and Q truth values are false. We can see in the truth table where statement P true and statement Q true, so P conjunction Q is true, etc. So the condition of the conjunction evaluates to true when the first and the second statement are true. The second is disjunction. Disjunction, if P and Q are propositions, then the disjunction of the two statements P or Q, written P disjunction Q, is true if at least one of P and Q is true correct. We can see in the truth table where statement P true, statement Q true, so P disjunction Q is true. Statements P true and statement Q false, so P disjunction Q is true. Statement P false and statement Q true, so P disjunction Q is true. Statement P false and statement Q false, so P disjunction Q is false. The third is implication. In the implication P implication Q, the single statement P is called the antecedent and statement Q is called a follower or consequent. An implication is false if and only if its predecessors if true and its followers are false, while for the truth values of its predecessors and other followers the implication is true. We can see in the truth table of the implication both. The last is the implication. The implication, the truth value of P implication Q is true if and only if the truth value of P is the same with the truth value of Q, and is false if the truth value of P is different with the truth value of Q. We can see in the truth table of the implication where statement P is true and statement Q is true, so P implication Q is true. Statement P is true and statement Q is false, so P by implication Q is false. Statement P is false, statement Q is true, so P by implication Q is false. Statement P is false and statement Q is false, so P by implication Q is true. Next, this is examples of mathematical logic. The company where I work has a rule that prohibits employees from arriving late. If an employee shows up late, they will get a pay cut. If an employee gets a pay cut, then the employee is not happy. To get the correct conclusion, the role of mathematical logic is needed. So, if we describe and use the method of mathematical logic, P is employee late, Q is employees get salary deductions, R is unhappy employees. So, P implication Q, Q implication R becomes P implication R. The formula is psychologistic formula which is part of how to draw conclusion with mathematical logic. Its characteristic is that there is more than one implication and are interconnected. The implication itself, a statement that has the characteristic of using the words if and then. So, with these methods in the above case, the conclusion is if the employee comes late, then the employee is not happy. From what I gave, mathematical logic provides a solution for those who find it's difficult to draw a conclusion. We only need to understand it by knowing the nature and characteristic of the statement we receive. Using mathematical logic makes us wiser in coming up with answer and seeking the truth of things we think are unclear. So much explanation from me. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.